We're thrilled that GVS chose to host its kickoff event for the United States here at Seton Hall Law School. But more exciting is our collaboration with GVS Foundation, for which we thank you. In my mind, the choice of Seton Hall Law School was obvious. We're a New Jersey law school, and when we're talking about sports, gaming, and hospitality, New Jersey is where it's happening. Seton Hall Law is a natural partner to GVS Foundation, first and foremost because of our global reputation in ethics and compliance training.
GVC Foundation Corporate Social Responsibility Foundation. We launched its global version last Monday. The objective of the foundation is to coordinate and further promote GVC's corporate social responsibility projects, including in particular those that focus on responsible gambling and sports integrity. We also got projects that focus on women's sports, for example, with the Italian, well, you guys call it soccer, we call it football, that's schizophrenic again, but let's stick to soccer. Soccer club, Inter Milan, and there are other projects in the pipeline on the global level. Specifically in the United States, the GVC Foundation is now the entity that manages our 5-year research collaboration with the Harvard Medical School, again in the field of responsible gambling. We are a member of the President's Suite of National Council on Problem Gambling. We've also got involved with the National Center on Responsible Gambling, but up there, and that's why I'm standing here today, and that's why I'm so proud of, is our collaboration with Seton Hall Law School as part of Seton Hall's Law School nascent fantastic hospitality, gambling and sports law program. And I believe now is the time for me to shut my mouth and kindly ask Dean Boozang for a couple of remarks on our collaboration that we're launching today. Thank you very much again.
So I'll be brief, but our first project together is compliance training for compliance professionals in the gaming industry. And we will be launching with a 3-day boot camp in March. And we'll be focusing on the laws and regulations from the US and the EU that are the backdrop for compliance and best practices in the gaming industry. And what distinguishes all of the compliance programming that Seton Hall Law does is we're not a conference. We are an independent educational institution, and we focus on doing rigorous deep dive teaching of the laws and the regulations and best practices that should be guiding how industry operates and to ensure the integrity of those operations. So we're very excited, and we are going to be gathering global experts, and we also feel very strongly about contributing to the professionalism and the development of what is really a new profession, which is the compliance profession, which is really instrumental and extremely important to the integrity of the industry overall. So we take quite seriously our role and the opportunity we have to contribute to the growth of a new profession and to populating that profession, whether it be with our law students or the many people who take our online graduate degree and certificate programs.
And vision is to help people, make sure that there's no problem gambling, make sure that that people are going to be doing it with a safety net, with the responsible, responsibly, and also the fact that I'm going to be getting to go to different colleges and speak to athletes about the pitfalls that might happen from gambling, and I'm really looking forward to that. I think when I went to University of Michigan a long time ago, one of the things that I thought they did a really good job of was they told us about the consequences if you got involved in gambling, and they showed us that it's a very subtle thing that happens, and you've got to be aware with it. And I want to be able to arm the kids, the athletes, young athletes, and the young students with the information and get them ready so that when they're approached, or if they're approached, they'll have the right tools to deal with those types of situations. And I think that's very important. And helping people is something I've always done. I've always been really, it's always something that's really made me feel good about, my platform, and I'm really excited to be with JVC and trying to further my mission of helping people.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bill Pascrell III with Princeton Public Affairs Group, known in the industry as BP3. This is a special day on so many levels, To be able to be in the law school, although Dean Riccio will commiserate with me about the law school's not the building, it's the people. It's the institution, it's the students, and thank you, students, for being here, taking time out of your schedule, because there's opportunity. But to be able to bring my alma mater to the table with a substantial long-term client of mine, and Martin is the best of breed, in addition to another client of mine and friend, and just a really humble guy. He doesn't really need to be humble, because not too many folks in this world have the sportsmanship, the integrity, the education, be able to articulate, and that's why I thought Amani was just the perfect person to bring in to this collaboration. When Amani arrives on those college campuses with myself and Martin, he's going to get attention. This collaboration is more than just a Jersey law school, a Jersey institution. This is a national launch with GVC, and most importantly, what's going to be announced in a few short moments, the National Council of Problem Gambling. It's not far afield for a law school to collaborate with the National Council, but it is different and unique. For GVC, one of the largest gambling companies in the world based in London, to step up to the plate, to use their resources, their stockholders, their shareholders, their board recognizes the importance of what Brian Dora from the National Council is going to be talking about momentarily. And the fact that they want to not only get involved with compliance, which is important, and integrity, but also talk about addressing the needs of really a forgotten class of folks. Alcoholism, drug addiction. There are federal resources for those. There are no federal resources for problem gamblers.
Thanks for the very passionate speech. Indeed, the foundation, I would argue, is the first of its kind, in particular in the sense that, to my knowledge, this is the first time and predominantly online gambling operator that entered the US space. Still relatively recently, well, not that recently in New Jersey, but on the nationwide level, still relatively recently is entering into this type of collaboration, and once again, we're very grateful for it. And the last item on the agenda gives me great pleasure to invite my friend, Brian Dora from the National Council on Problem Gambling. We all put emphasis on it because we were told off that it's not gaming but gambling, so please make a mental note. It's the National Council on Problem Gambling. That's important because it covers both betting and gaming. GVC has had the privilege and pleasure of being a member of NCPG's President's Suite for over a year now. We helped put together a nationwide survey on problem gamblers, but gamblers at large, and Brian will be talking to you about her vision of the world, I presume, but also about another exciting project the GVC Foundation will be supporting in kind collaboration with NCPG. It's all yours.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the incredible kind words, Bill. My name is Brian Dora. I'm the Legislative Director for the National Council on Problem Gambling, as you've heard. We are the organization, we're the sole national advocate for problem gamblers and their loved ones. But more importantly, I start all things with saying I'm the proud voice of the 2% of Americans that often don't have one. But I'm here to talk today about the 56,000 members of our military that have a gambling disorder. Studies show that our veterans and our active duty military that have a gambling disorder are actually twice as likely to commit suicide than the general adult populations. And because of commitments like GVC, we're ready for their fight. We also have a 24/7, 365 confidential helpline that we're looking to get out there so all who need help can access it. We're also looking to develop specific guidelines and materials for our vulnerable populations like that of our active duty military and our veterans. It's truly a privilege and an honor to be here with you all and to work with someone like Martin who sees where we need help. And I look forward to the future. Thank you.